This is the Entrepreneurial Mind. I'm Dr. Jeff Cornwall. I'm here today with Jay Hake of Streamweaver, and we'll be back to talk to him a little bit about his company in just a minute.
Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Talkapolis, the social media TV network for your city.
So, Jay, you've been with Streamweaver for how long now?
Since September of 2012.
Okay,
so.
And you've come in as a Chief Operating Officer, and you don't have a technology background, though, do you? You're more, I seen your background, you're a lawyer and have some business background, is that correct?
Yeah, I actually, a little bit of both to answer that question.
Okay.
I actually did do a fair bit of technology early in my career. I actually ran an information systems department for the Minnesota Department of Commerce, and then got into the startup community in Colorado in the late 90s and worked for a bank payment software company for
right.
3.5 years. Then I took my sabbatical to go to law school, and have been working both as a lawyer and on the business side since I graduated law school.
Oh, interesting. So what drew you to come and do this deal and be a part of this deal at Streamweaver?
Well, a couple of things. I have a really good friend who was involved in founding Streamweaver, and when it first started, I came out and did some consulting and was working with him, and through that really kind of fell in love with Nashville and what was going on with the entrepreneurial community here, the vibe and the energy. It really felt a lot like what Boulder felt like in the late 90s when it was really becoming a startup hotbed. And I was excited for the opportunity to come here and work with a new young company and experience Nashville.
So let's talk a little bit about the technology, because it's pretty fascinating technology. And so what intrigued me was that Forbes, in the article they did about you guys, said who's going to be the next Instagram for video, and then it's an article about you guys. I mean, that's pretty heady stuff when you start seeing Forbes comparing you to Instagram along the way. So tell us a little bit of how it works. I mean, I played with it, and it's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, well, as you know, there's been a lot of activity in mobile video, and what we really saw was the thing that was missing from mobile video was everybody was trying to take a photograph experience and apply it to video, a really simple one-person shot of something, oftentimes 10 or 15 seconds, and that's really not how people consume video, and it's not how people make video. So what we were really looking for is how can we deepen that experience. So what we came up with is an application that allows up to 4 people to shoot video simultaneously with their iPhones, and then we'll sync that up into a multi-perspective video and deliver it back to them. It's built. I'm sorry.
So what's the value that the market sees in this? Why is this going to be something that's going to draw all sorts of people to your site and to get your app?
Right. Well, I think if you look at kind of the history of movies and video creation, there's anything from a 10-second commercial to a 2-hour-long movie. Nothing's shot from just one perspective. Right. It's not just a single static camera, kind of capturing one angle of something. And what we really think and what we've seen is having people create together and have the ability to create together and do so from multiple angles and share multiple perspectives is a really interesting user experience.
So give me some examples of what people have done with this so far.
Well, being in Nashville, certainly we've seen some really interesting music content, both artist-created music content as well as fan-created music content. We've seen a variety of sports content, from traditional sports like baseball and that to action sports, skateboarding.
So how would, give me an example of what a skateboarding video might look like, or synchronized set of videos would look like.
Sure. So a lot of skateboarding takes place at skate parks these days.
Right.
There's been a renaissance of skate park building, and
and
it's usually a group of skateboarders together at one place, and they already have an existing behavior of shooting tricks and that kind of thing. And it's as simple as a couple of them standing around in different locations with their phone. They can tap record, and they can catch, be it a trick or a run or a series of tricks from different angles around the park.
And they all have to hit that play at the right moment to sync it? Is that how it has to work?
They don't, actually. All they have to do is be near each other, and we take care of the syncing part for them. So if somebody starts first, there'll be a single video shown. As another person joins, that screen will split to 2. We can do that all the way up to 4. And the same thing will happen if people drop out. The screen will automatically resize to the number of feeds that are there.
And then this is archived, and people can come and view these synchronized videos and experience the event like the people did that were there.
Exactly. It's built on a social media platform, so people will get the video back in their app on their phone. They can watch it on their phone. They can watch it on the web. They can share it through all of their social media channels. And yeah, they can experience not only what they saw, but also what other people saw.
I can just imagine 4 of my students sitting in the back row synchronizing one of my lectures or something like that, and they put commentary and stuff in there as well?
Oh yeah, there's hashtagging and commenting and all of that, so you know, we could definitely
This is a brave new world for us, isn't it? Yeah.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Wow. So, so what have you learned so far? I mean, every time something this innovative comes out, certainly customers help you develop the model and get the business model better. What are some surprises you've gotten from customers?
Yeah, well, and I think that's the key. Is that's how all of business is being done in the technology world these days. Is, you know, your customer. I think I saw a sign at a restaurant today that said the customer is the final inspector. Right, and I thought that was pretty apt. You know, it's really true. So what we tried to do, we released our first version in September of last year, and then from September until December, and we do this continually, but we're in a real heavy information gathering mode through surveys, through user groups, through analytics on user behavior, really looking at how users are using the app as well as just taking their direct feedback and what they wanted. And we heard 2 things really loudly that we implemented in our last release. The first was people need it to be as dead simple as possible to record.
Right.
And so we made this user experience now where if you and I are sitting here, I can literally tap record on my phone in the Streamweaver app. You can tap record, and we join you together automatically.
How close do we have to be together for this to work?
You can be a fair distance apart. So, I mean, up to maybe a quarter of a mile.
Oh, wow. So you could have people at a sporting event sitting in different parts of the stadium, filming halftime. And,
and that's the goal, is to be able to let people capture small events as well as, you know, bigger events.
And then how long of a feed can you put in at one time?
Right now, each person is limited to a minute per video. And that really is a combination of bandwidth and user experience. We don't want to have somebody shoot a video and be waiting a long time if they're on a slow cellular network, something like that, to upload a video, as well as, you know, eat up a big chunk of their data.
So 45 minutes of a little kid's birthday party is not going to be happening.
Well, I think people would, it'd be an interesting experience for them to upload a 45-minute video on their cell phone too.
Right,
so,
right.
So we try to balance a meaningful user experience time-wise with a good experience with upload and with streaming to watch. But we do have some users who we've given more time to let them experiment with, you know, with different use cases.
So what's your user volume right now? How many people are playing around with this at this point?
Yeah, we're not publicizing exact numbers, but we're in the 10s, 20s plus of thousands of people.
Wow, so that's catching on.
Yeah, we're really happy with the user growth, both from, you know, registered users as well as videos created, and it's been fun to see that there's a whole group of people who are just looking for a new way to consume content too. So
is there a search with this too, so that people can come in and search and find videos or synchronize videos of certain things?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways people can do that. Number one, if you have each person creates a username and an account. So if you know your friend's username or email, you can search to find particular people and then connect up and follow them and watch their content. And we also have a curated feed that we call the global feed, which is just a continual refresh of a lot of new content that's coming in. We don't put it all up because there's a huge volume, as well as there's, you know, you got to make sure you put good content up. But there's a lot of content there where people can just go into the Discover tab, they can click, they can watch different videos, they can follow people.
Now you're right at the cutting edge of something very new and exciting, which which is good, but it also, that whole bleeding edge of technology is something you have to be a little bit afraid of. Kind of, how do you guys see yourselves positioning in terms of all of that?
Yeah, I think bleeding edge is, it's called bleeding edge for a reason. So you do need to be careful about being out there. I think I like where we're positioned, because you have a pretty big critical mass of kind of basic, and I wouldn't say basic derogatory basic, but basic video apps that are out there, and we're seeing that people are using them, they like them, they're adopting them. So we know that there's a set of user behaviors out there that people like to record video and share them through their phone. What we've tried to do is say, okay, that's version 1.0 of user behavior.
Right.
What's version 2.0? And so, yeah, it's out there a little bit, but at the same point in time, I think it's built on a foundation of the fact that we know that this is an established user behavior that people want to do. And so it's that fine line, and there's certainly a technology component of that too. We're pushing the bounds of what phones and cellular carriers can do right now. We're right out at the edge of that.
So in terms of revenue streams for this business, it's a free app. So how are you going to convince investors as you grow this, saying that this is something that's going to monetize well for them? Right.
I mean, the Streamweaver is all about the community. I mean, the goal is to build a really large and engaged user community that opens itself up to a lot of revenue opportunities for features, for content creators, for brands, for all sorts of different people who would like to participate. So we got a lot of ideas around that we'll be working on. But right now our mantra is to grow the user base as much as we can.
Very cool. So, well, yeah. It's easy to download and easy to use, and I wish you guys the best. Very exciting.
Well, thanks, and appreciate your time and having us on the show. So.
Glad to have you. Thanks.